Welcome back to Stil'rs Chalk Talk here on Fox Sports Net Wheeling, Pittsburgh. I'm your host, Randy Tank Tantlinger. You can call me Tank. We're friends. Here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Fox Sports Net Wheeling, Pittsburgh. All right, dissecting this, I don't know what you call it last week, going down there against an inferior team. We covered in the first segment how Tomlin has a history losing to Tim Tebow, 2011, against the Broncos. 7.5 favorites, 8-point favorite, loses it. Blake of Bortles, I don't even know if that guy's in the league anymore, against the Jaguars. Tomlin dumps games he should win. He didn't dump this game. Final score, your Chris Boswell, 6. Houston Texans, 30 against the highest paid defense in the league. I want to stay to offense right now. Did you hear Tomlin's press conference on Tuesday? If you didn't, it's worth going back and listening to. I've never heard so much. I mean, he's great. He must go into his office before a press conference, get a thesaurus, and come up with words to spew. Spew, I say. I mean, he is one for, I think the word's obfuscate, something like that. That means BSing. Obfuscate. I mean, it never fails. When they get their butts handed to them, or they lose, or this and that, you get what people call Tomlinisms. I call them horse-pucky. An endless, just cascade of horse-pucky comes out of his mouth. So his explanation for going down to Houston, losing, again, Texans 30, Chris Boswell 6, by that margin, get ready for the drum roll, folks. Da-da-da-da! That the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't practice in pads last week. Just helmets. Just helmets. So you're telling me that professional football players who at this point, OTAs, Latrobe training camp, actually years of experience playing from high school football through college, now the professional level, who, I don't know, let's go with an offensive guard, our lineman, who has gone through thousands, if not millions, of reps that has made him a pro football player. Means he's better than the average Joe, right? He's taken thousands of reps, pass blocking, thousands of reps, run blocking. Tomlin said, well, we didn't keep our pads low. And that's a valid point. I mean, if you don't keep your pads low, the other guy's going to own you. But Tomlin's excuse that we practiced in pads, that's why we stunk up the joint, Texans 30, Chris Boswell 6. So, because you didn't practice in pads last week, this is what you're telling us, Mike. Your players who have taken thousands of reps at their position, linebacker, offensive line, defensive back, defensive corner, wide receiver, since high school, and who have perfected their technique and who are professionals and who get paid to play this, suddenly forgot that they were supposed to keep their pads lower than the other guy. That they forgot muscle memory went out the window too. Because they didn't practice in pads last week. They went, oh, haywire. You know how your dog goes nuts when it sees ice cream? When you pull in a Dairy Queen, it just loses sense of reality and time. Starts running around the car, screaming and barking because he knows he's going to get ice cream, but he's lost all common sense. He steps on Grandma's respirator and cuts the hose off. Grandma's sucking air, then he jumps over He knocks the bottle out of the baby's mouth. Then he jumps on you while you're still driving the car, pulling into the Dairy Queen. The dog loses his mind because he knows he's going to get chocolate ice cream. And he's running around. You got to tell the dog, settle down. You almost killed Grandma. You killed baby Josephine's bottle. Now it's spilled all over the place. And you go through this every time you take the dog to the Dairy Queen. The dog goes nuts. And even when you tell the dog to settle down, the dog goes nuts. You're telling me that's what happened because you didn't practice in pads, Mike Tomlin, that somehow the Stil'rs went nuts like the dog going to the Dairy Queen for vanilla strawberry ice cream. And you're, I forgot how to block. I forgot how to tackle. I've lost all muscle memory. Final score, Houston Texans 30. Your Chris Boswell 6. Never heard such insanity. Then he throws his players under the bus. That's one of Tomlin's favorite. Thrown under the bus. He used that with me last year when I told him his offensive line stunk in a press conference. And it upset little Mikey because I told him the truth. He told him the truth in the press conference. Maybe you heard about it. It ended up on the NFL Network. Little Mikey got his feelings hurt because the old Tanky told him the truth that his offensive line sucked and was getting Kenny Pickett the hell beat out of him. And little Mikey got upset and scolded Tanky. But Tanky don't do that. Tanky don't play that. Throwing under the bus. If anybody did that last week, instead of manning up, Mike Tomlin, manning up like you try to pretend to be all the time, and saying, this is on me. Did you hear that come out of Tomlin's mouth? You know what? The only thing that should have come out of his mouth is, it's on me. It's on me. Every single question that a reporter asked Tuesday, Tomlin should have looked dead in that camera at Stil'rs Nation because he owes you an explanation. You know that. It ain't his Pittsburgh Steelers. It's my Pittsburgh Steelers. It's your Pittsburgh Steelers. He's just a temporary custodian. Okay? That's how I look at it. Hey, you're listening to Steelers Chalk Talk here on Fox Sports Net Wheeling, Pittsburgh. I'm Tank Tantlinger. I'm here every Saturday morning. It's my Pittsburgh Steelers. It's been since I went up on my little Evel Knievel bicycle where we lived in Latrobe, and I'd go to St. Vincent's, and I'd see Art Rooney and the Chief and Rocky Bleier and Mean Joe Green. It's my Pittsburgh Steelers. I was at Arizona for the Super Bowl when I won't mention his name. Dare anybody mention his name, playing quarterback, number 14 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when he threw the second interception, I went nuts and tried to get on the field. Bottle of tequila will do that to you. It's your Pittsburgh Steelers. You're the ones with the tattoos of your favorite players, Mike Webster, Jack Lambert, the trophies. Mike Tomlin's just a custodian of our Pittsburgh Steelers team. And that's pretty harsh to say. Most NFL coaches, as you know, Bill Belichick, before he got to the Patriots, was with the Browns. Do you think he has any loyalty to the Browns? If another team came calling right now and offered Bill Belichick $1 billion, $1 billion to coach him, do you think he'd still be loyal to New England? He'd be gone. That kind of wealth would be for generations. I don't want to hear Tomlin's been here for 100 years. And he's more somehow intrinsically has a right to call it his team. He's just a custodian now. It's my team. It's your team. It's Art Rooney, the Chiefs' team. And as far as being a custodian, I'm done with Tomlin. I'm done with him. Now, half of you listening right now, just half of you went, yeah, Tank, tell it like it is. Then like the other clown up in Cleveland, some guy on Facebook. Do me a favor, please. Go to our Stil'rs Chalk Talk Facebook page and YouTube and watch the videos that Mike and I do. Again, Mike McMahon, my co-host, played quarterback at Rutgers, Lions, Eagles, Vikings. Mike's coaching high school football here in Pittsburgh now and hurt his ankle too. So he just had an MRI this morning, a month later. So something's wrong with him. But normally Mike joins us. Mike Tomlin should have looked into the camera and every question last week said, you know what, guys? It's on me. It's on me. It's on me. You know what? It's on me. Even though it would have been ridiculously redundant to say it's on me, it would have been the truth. It would have been, with a Tomlinism, we're not seeking comfort. We're not seeking comfort, says Tomlin all the time. That man eats more Twinkies and ice cream and locks himself in his bedroom and cries and eats comfort food than any other head coach I've ever known. He just deflects. He doesn't stand there at the microphone and eat ice cream and Twinkies as his comfort phone. He deflects like he did this week. We didn't practice in pads. That's why we got our butts handed to us. 30, thank you, Chris Boswell, for 6 points. He deflects. He says his players didn't play hard enough. Bull-Puckey. This whole fiasco is on Mike Tomlin. Why? Why, Tanky? Why do you say that? Because Mike Tomlin gave you Todd Haley, Randy Fichtner, now Matt Canada dried up, I need to get a Greyhound bus out of town. Mike Tomlin is the one that hired Matt Canada and said, this is my guy. He ain't never won in college. Had one mediocre season. That's my guy. He's got winner written all over him. Are you kidding me? Texans, 30. Chris Boswell, 6. Finally, though, like I said before in the first segment, Canada figured out something. He ran that there Najee 14 times for 71 yards. One reception worth 32. That was beautiful. Instead of running, Canada got it out of his head to quit trying to get the locomotive Najee outside. Run him up the middle. And it paid dividends. Until it was 4th and 1. And Matt Canada Dry said, I'm really smart. Watch what I'm going to do now. I'm going to trick you all. I'm going to trick everybody on 4th and 1 or a half. Mike Tomlin hired Matt Canada. Again, in the first segment, I told you Oakland Raiders quarterback Kenny Stabler Cullen plays for Alabama, his alma mater, years later. After a horrible drumming, I believe, to Ole Miss. His cohort said, Kenny, what do you make of that performance? And Kenny said, you cannot make chicken salad out of chicken droppings. I'm going to the bar. And took his headphone off and left. And the other guy was like, yeah, he's about right about that. Same thing is pertinent to Matt Canada. You cannot make chicken salad out of chicken droppings. I am Matt Canada. All right, you're listening to Stil'rs Chalk Talk here on Fox Sports Net Wheeling, Pittsburgh. I'm Tank. We'll go to these commercial messages here. And we get back. We're going to, I don't know. I'll predict the Ravens game. And we're going to talk about some stats from the game and some defense. Why the most highly paid defense in the league stunk up the joint in Houston. Tank will be back.